we'll kind of let people get in here.
All right.
We already had some. We had some early birds.
Let me pull this thing up so I can share it out real quick.
All right. Looks like Catfish Fever, Lynn Outdoors, Mario Sanchez, Georgia Fisherman. He's headed to the river. Table Rock Adventures. I know Patriot James is just ending, so we'll start seeing some people pop in. Hey, Dan Thompson, welcome.
All right. There we go.
We'll give everybody a little bit of time to jump in here.
Just shared it out so we can get some people up in here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing about fishing. You know, the YouTube community is growing so fast.
It is.
And Dave Gashar, welcome. There's lots of new people that are getting into fishing too. Yeah. And they have lots of questions.
Yes.
When I started, we kind of had to learn by experience. There was no one to share with. And now the YouTube community, there's a platform for people to go to and ask questions and get help.
Yep.
And it makes it really nice because that was not a tool that was there for me.
Yeah.
Brandon, Catfish and Dreams, welcome. So it's really growing, and you know, it has a potential to help a lot of people. You can reach a lot of people. You know, just like tonight, the show.
Yeah.
I fish lakes. You fish the Potomac River. They're completely different animals.
Yep.
But you can combine knowledge on both of them, and it spreads it out to where there is literally something out there for everybody. Yep. You know, I learned stuff from watching y'all, and you know, just like we were talking before it started, I never thought about carp or eel until I started watching the DC guys.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian Forrest, 351, Fins and Foul. So I'm learning by watching, and even though I've been fishing my entire life, you can always still learn as long as you keep an open mind.
Always.
Michael Murillo in the house.
What's going on, everybody? Appreciate you guys coming on in here.
Sir Finn's Catfishing. Eric Burnside. But, you know, first of all, I got to give y'all props up there. The mud that y'all go through, that last stream that you caught the 43 fish on,
yep,
man, you had mud everywhere. It looked like Swamp Thing.
Everywhere.
Hey, Maurice Cason, and not just on you, it gets all over your gear.
So,
you know, that takes a long time to clean up.
Yeah, the gear, the rods and the reels. I had to spray, you know, the nets, you know, the everything, the bands, you know, all the live streaming equipment, the black lights, it gets in everything.
Maurice Cason, Ace Catfish, 351, Jeremy Allen, Mad Catter, welcome guys. Yeah, the mud is a big thing, and you know, you have to deal with that a lot. Your PB, when you caught that 62, you know, same scenario. It was muddy.
It was muddy. It was low tide. I had to go walk out there in my boots and go get the fish.
Yeah, that's hard fishing.
Yeah.
I don't know if people understand how hard that is walking in that mud and stuff. And, you know, you're losing shoes and hey, Dale, hey, Slip. And Mark was wearing his waders and stuff and almost lost them. It looks like Brandon's got a question for you.
I gotta wait till I get the boat in the water and running first.
Yeah.
Oh man, I got black lights to put on the boat. I ordered them 2 months ago. You know, I still don't got my boat in the water, but they're replacing the starter and the primer lines and all that stuff. So hopefully I have it back in the next couple of days, or at least by next weekend, and I'll be able to get out there on the water. I miss being out on the boat. I can't wait to be able to get back out there.
Fishing Frustrations, welcome. first of all, like I was talking earlier, congrats on the 43 fish in the live stream. And anytime you catch 43 fish on a live, man, you're doing it. And,
yeah.
You know, it was work. You could see the sweat on you. Them
The
fish.
whole time sweating, you know. I broke off a couple of times, had to retie some rods and stuff like that too as well during it. You know, it was, I would get like, to try to tell you guys like the Glizzy Masters, I would get mid-sentence and the rods going off. I could never get a whole conversation out with you guys that night. We were working. It was fun though.
The mud added to it because that made it even harder.
Yes.
So I mean, I wasn't sure if you were winning or if the fish were winning during that one. I mean, because I bet you slept good because that looked like a beatdown.
Oh yeah, it did. I slept good. Then I had to get up the next morning and help the wife cater for a local hospital, and then go to work myself. But I had a blast though. I would do it over again. It was fun. I had a fun time out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. Brandon said I got 16 foot of blue LEDs just lighting for the rods. You know, Has, before we get started, you know, you mentioned the Glizzy Masters. Why don't you take a time, shout that out, let everyone know when it is, what's going on, who's competing, because this is something new.
Yes. So, you know, the live stream fishing, you know, it's really blowing up over the pandemic, and then now we have live stream tournaments blowing up too as well. And I just wanted to bring my own twist on, you know, on the live stream tournaments, do something that nobody else is doing, try to be a little innovative, and just to have some fun, you know, some entertainment for the viewers. And I got the Glizzy Masters coming up this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. We have Fins and Finds, Brian B. Catfishing, P City Smitty, No Real Loss, Darla and Judy Booty. We have Mike Costello. We have Two Stands Fishing. We have trying to think. I believe I got everybody. But competing, you know, out there, and there's a lot of different ways to win. We have most fish caught on a glizzy, biggest fish, and there's also a glizzy eating contest too at the end of it. And most fish caught wearing a glizzy costume. There's going to be 3 anglers dressed up, you know, fishing. So it's going to be fun. I can't wait, man. It's going to be, you know, live catfishing tournaments like you never seen before.
Yeah. I know Stan's been excited. He's ready for the Glizzy Masters.
Yes, Stan is. No Real Loss, Bex and Steven. Fishing with the Mid-South, he's in it too as well. There's been a lot of talking back and forth in the I put everybody in a group chat on Facebook. So
yeah, there's always smack talking.
A lot of smack talk. Yeah, I'm gonna get everybody together on Friday at 6:00 p.m. and just get everybody on the show just to do a little smack talk kickoff before, like a little pre-show before the tournament day. So it's gonna be fun. I can't wait.
And it's all in fun, but the smack talking makes it even better.
Yeah.
You know, you never know what's gonna happen. You know.
Yeah.
You and Mark and them were in a tournament with DMV, and DMV had been hot, and there was lots of smack talk, and then he got to fish, and he got to his spot, and storms move in, killed the bite. So it's fishing. You never know what's going to happen.
You never know. And when you're fishing the river, it changes from day to day, tide to tide. You know, it's always changing. You never know how it is on the river. You can go. I caught 30 fish there yesterday. You go back there, the next day, and you only catch 3 or 4. You know, you never know how it's going to go.
So that's a good question too. On that tidal river, you know, it's different from fishing a lake like I do. But in the rivers, do the fish move more?
In the wintertime, they stay pretty much close to their deep holes. You know, their deep wintering holes in the wintertime. But as soon as it starts to warm up, all the fish come out of those wintering holes and they're on the move, especially, you know, your baby fish, your dinker fish, you know, your fish from 1 to like 4 or 5 pounds. You know, it's so hard. There's so many in the Potomac River, especially when we're bank fishing. You see it a lot. Like I catch a lot of them. Chunky catch a lot of them. DMV catch a lot of them. There's a abundance of smaller catfish on
5 to 8 pounds, a lot.
Yeah, a lot of them. A lot of those cookie cutter size, catfish. And they're on the move. The big fish, they spread out and they're just few and far between. It's hard to really locate them from the bank. So that's why when I'm bank fishing, I don't try to throw no big donkey baits or anything like that. I just go out and try to target any fish that will get on the hook.
Yeah. See, Rex Blocker made it in. Hey, Lynn Leaper, Catfish Fever and Outdoors. The spawn is on here and it's kind of dead, but I still had to go give it a try this morning.
Yeah.
I got my wife up early. I had some live bluegill, and we went out there and we fished live bluegill and cut bluegill, and she used some night crawlers, and we knew the bite was going to be bad when we got out there, and we got tormented by turtles.
Yeah.
I think every turtle in that lake was over there with us. We moved spots, and I caught a huge soft shell turtle.
Yeah.
That thing was about 2 foot across. It almost broke the reel on her spinning rod.
Wow.
And it was just tormenting. Let's see, Chuck Mueller's in, TX Tiger. Hey, Dan, has explained to him a little bit on the Tidal River how your fishing changes from high tide to low tide.
Okay, so when you're fishing in the city, you don't really have to worry about the bank shrinking on you. But when I go up into the woods where I like to fish a lot, when you're bank fishing up there, you get out there during high tide, you're fishing into low tide. That bank is gonna, expand on you, and you're gonna have to go out there into the mud, 7, 8, 9, sometimes 10, 20 feet. You never know. Depends on, what spot of the river you're fishing. But my experience is low tide has been like, my money. I've had very, very, very good luck with low tide fishing on the Potomac River. I will still catch them during high tide. I will go out and fish the high tide too as well. It's just low tide has been what I've noticed to be my best time for fishing. And it changes the current, like when you're fishing that incoming tide, when you're casting out, I use 4 ounce majority of time, 4, sometimes 5 ounces. But when you're fishing incoming tide, you're casting straight out and your bait's going to drop and it's going to stay right there. But once you get that outgoing tide flowing with the current, then you'll notice that your baits will move downriver like your normal rivers. So it's you have to adjust. And fishing from the boat is definitely tricky too as well. I fished one time. I was out doing a live stream with Fishing Magician, and this was my first time experiencing it in the boat where the tide was pushing me upriver. You're always taught to put your nose upriver and then drop the anchor off the front and you fish off the back. But I was getting blown upriver, so I had to learn how to drop that second anchor off the back of the boat on the fly. But I watched videos on how to do all that stuff before, so it was pretty simple once I figured it out. Once I got to it.
Looks like we got Dakota in here, Art 1 Ton, Noah TV. Thanks for joining, guys. And has on that river, I've noticed watching y'all, different baits have different cycles. The eel, early in the year, the eel was hot, and then the eel bite went away, and y'all switched to carp and stuff.
Yes.
What baits do you tend to rely on for each season?
So in the spring, like right now till fall season, eel is going to reign supreme. That's my, I can slay all day long on eel, and you don't have to get a lot of eel, just one eel. Obviously using white perch and bluegill and stuff will still work as, but I just find that eel has been my money go-to bait spring, season until fall season. Once the water temps cool down below that 40, that 45, 40 degree mark, the eel just completely shuts off. Like they'll still hit it occasionally, but the eel bite is, it just doesn't work. So I switched to carp, and carp starts hitting and working the way that eel was working for me, and then we have the shad run that runs from like March up until now. The shad are starting to die off and headed back to the ocean. But the shad works very well too. The thing about it is, if you catch them in Maryland or DC, you're not allowed to keep them. If you catch them in Virginia, you can keep them. And those are like the primo bait to use. That's what I was using when we were tournament fishing. I was using the shad, and they call them skipjack, American shad, hickory shad. Yeah.
So y'all only have the shad in that river for a certain amount of time during the year.
Yes, only for about 3 months of the year we have them up here, and that's that early spring into early summer season.
See, we got shad year round in the lake.
Yeah.
Do you think that shad run, when it comes into the Potomac like that and it comes into your area, do you think the fish bite is harder on that because it's not there all the time?
Yes, I do. So it's like, when your favorite food comes around that you haven't had in like 9-10 months, the fish are like, oh, they know what time it is. They know, okay, I start to see my favorite type of food come around, and it comes around plentiful, like by the millions. It's everywhere. They're spawning, reproducing and everything. So it definitely has an effect on the bite. And it's primo bait, but for some reason, Maryland and DC, you got to throw them back. I don't know why, but that's the way they made it.
Yeah. You see, Roger, Muskrat Adventures made it in. Sogo, Nick, welcome, guys. There's a lot of things different too, because I learned the different baits y'all use by watching y'all, because I never used carp. I never thought about using eel. Because eel is not native to me.
Yeah.
But like, we have tons of carp.
Mm-hmm.
And guys, don't be afraid to try new baits out there. I do know that carp does work in this area. Fins and Fowl fishes some of the same waters I do.
Yeah.
And he actually caught a carp and tried it, and it does work. And guys, if you're interested in figuring out on the carp, HasLife has a great video showing how he prepares his carp to fish with, because I didn't have a clue.
Mm-hmm.
And that really helps a lot. So, but don't be afraid to try different baits, guys. Hey, Brad Caudell, Justin's Fishing Fetish, welcome. It makes a big difference. A lot of people, if they catch a fish on a bait one time, they'll try and use that bait all year.
Yeah.
And there's going to be times that it does not produce.
Yeah.
I run into it here, even on the lakes.
Mm-hmm.
Even though shad is our natural forage fish, there's times that they will hit bluegill better than they will shad,
mm-hmm.
or they will hit carp, and you won't be able to get a bite on the other baits.
Yeah.
So other than like the eel, the shad, the carp, what other baits do you like to use in the Potomac?
I just recently started using chicken. I've used it like twice. I had more luck on mango chicken than I've had strawberry jello chicken. When I was out fishing with my brother one time in the rain, we used mango chicken, and it worked pretty good. Hot dogs, I will use hot dogs. Hot dogs work very well. You just have to prepare them beforehand. Otherwise, they come off the hook, pretty easily.
Yeah, I never could keep them on the hook.
Yeah. If you soak them in, if you let them sit in salt days before, that'll toughen it up to, take the moisture out of it, and it'll make it stay on the hook a little better. And those are about it. Pork. I know that Richard Montano was using pork.
Yes.
And he was catching them. He was catching them on pork. Just
no
pork
seasoning or nothing.
I think he was just sprinkled a little garlic on it, got a little garlic salt on it. That was it. But yeah, just pork. That was it. And he didn't pre-season it. He just taking it right out the package, cutting it up, and then just throwing some salt on there. And that's it.
I see Johnny J&S Outdoors made it in. G San and Hilljack Catfishing. Hey.
But yeah, that carp, it's just so oily, and the scent stays forever. And with that scent going down the river, it's just spreading out there. It's spreading out so the fish will find it. That's what that carp and that eel, they have a very strong scent. That oil. That.
Well, not only that, it seems like the carp and the eel stay on the hook really well.
Oh yes, they stay on the hook forever. The eel, you will never be able to get off the hook. Even when you're trying to, when I'm done at the end of the night and I'm trying to get the eel off the hook, it's a fight to get it off the hook. That eel skin is super, super tough. That day that I caught that 43 fish, 2 of the rods had the same bait on for 7 hours. I didn't even switch it. Just, they were hitting it. So I was like, I'm not gonna switch it up. They keep hitting it. I'm just gonna leave it out there.
Yeah. Well, seeing their Spins and Foul, speaking of him, he made it in here. He's used carp down here in his work. That was one thing that I learned, because to me, I'd catch a fish on a piece of bait, and I always change the bait.
Yeah.
I'd always freshen it up.
Mm-hmm.
And I started watching y'all leave the bait on there. And, Kayak Catfish, he would drop the same bait down and down again.
Yeah.
And to me, once the blood was gone off of it or something, especially on cut bait, I would switch it out. But I watching y'all, like you said, I don't know how many fish you caught on the same piece of bait, the same piece of eel. I've seen you catch multiple on pieces of carp.
Yep.
And, so it makes a difference. Why don't you kind of tell everybody a little bit about the gear you're using, your tackle and stuff, to go after these fish in the Potomac?
Okay, so you guys know I'm new, to the catfish scene, so I've been going through phases and changing gear. When I first started out catfishing, I was coming from spinning reels, and I was using braid. So I use 50-pound braid on all my spinning rods. I still use braid on my spinning rods. But I found that, like, when you backlash some braid on a bait caster, it's like impossible to get out. So, I didn't want to have to keep respooling every time. So I switched over to mono on all my bait casters. And I use Trayline 30-pound mono on all my bait casters. Like I have this one right here, Slime Cat, spooled up right here with 30-pound mono. And for my leader, I was using 40-pound leader, but I was breaking off sometimes, and so I switched up to 80-pound. Now I use 80-pound leader. Sometimes 50, 60 to 80, but majority of the time I'm using that 80-pound leader just to prevent break-offs. But sometimes, catching so many fish, especially that muddy night, I caught a lot of fish, and it's hard to check that line with all that mud on it and stuff. So I broke off sometimes too as well. And I use 3-way swivels. And I clip my my weight. I clip my weight, so it doesn't travel up and down my line. I just clip it right to one of the 3-way swivels, and then I float my hook up off the bottom with a spook about 2 feet. So about 2 feet off the bottom is where I put my bait. But I didn't always do that. Like when I caught that 62, I didn't have a float on. When I caught that my PB 52, before that one, I didn't have a float on. I was dibble dabbling trying to learn, but I noticed on rods that I did have floats on, I had better hookup ratios, and they got hit more often than ones that didn't have floats on. So then that's when I just started putting floats on all my rods. But you don't need them. But I noticed they definitely help. They definitely improve the hookup ratio.
Yeah, and that Santee rig that you're talking about, one thing that I noticed about, I fish a lot of rocky and stump areas.
Yeah.
And I noticed that the Santee rig comes through there better. You don't snag up as much
Yeah.
and lose as much tackle because it does have that hook up off the bottom.
Yep.
And also, I think when you run into stuff, that spook or that float will bounce off that cover and kind of kick your hook out of the way.
Yep.
So, you know, a lot of people don't realize that, but if you're snagging up a lot on the bottom, that Santee rig can save you a lot of tackle.
Yes, it can. Yes, it can. And also, you know, that pop up and then real fast technique, you know, that definitely helps. You see, I do it. Chunky does it. You see him do it a lot. But yeah, when you're fishing those from the bank, you're fishing some rocky areas. You know, you got to pop your bait up off of there and reel in fast so it doesn't get snagged up.
Looks like Willow made it in, and Fish Hunt Trap Repeat. Thanks, guys. Has some advice to give people. If you fish, there's going to come a time where you get the short hits, is what we call it. When they're not getting the hook, they're like getting the back of the bait. What's some advice you can give to new fishermen? What changes to make to start increasing their hookups on those short hits like that?
So what you're gonna want to do, and I know some people don't like to, but you got to downsize your hooks, downsize your baits, and that will improve your hookup ratio. Because the problem is they're hitting, you know, they're just doing these little short strikes, and if you have a big piece of bait, they're gonna get the bait and not get the hooks. So you just got to downsize. That's just like when you're fishing in the wintertime, you know, you're gonna downsize your hooks to like 5/0 and 6/0. If you're doing the same thing in springtime, you're noticing that they're just having a finicky bite, which sometimes happens. I know that during the tournament, we all experienced a finicky bite where we missed a lot of fish. You know, they just weren't, you know, they weren't committing. And I didn't downsize my hooks because I started to improve my hookup ratio as the night went on. But I know, like Fishing Magician, he downsized his hooks the next day, and he caught, you know, a ton more fish than all of us. I know DMV, he was getting that same short strike that night. He was when he was out, he had it the most out of all of us. But I don't think he had any smaller hooks. He just kept the same hooks on. I know he tried to switch to not locking his reel down. But I just keep mine locked down because that just, that sets the hook right there. You know, if sometimes you miss it, sometimes you're not fast enough, if they have the hook in their mouth, it's going to set the hook immediately, so you don't have to worry.
I leave mine engaged, except sometimes when I'm flathead fishing with live bait.
Flathead fishing, it is better.
I will kick it out and leave the kicker or the clicker on. That's about the only time I use the clicker on my reels. Is live bait fishing with the flathead, because the blues are more aggressive. And usually if you'll leave it locked down, when they take it down with that circle hook, they will hook themselves. But there are instances to where we've seen where you get a massive takedown and no hookup, and they're like, man, what's going on? And you start thinking, man, is it gar? What's going on? You'll hear people start saying, oh, it's turtles, and it's actually fish, and not all of them are small fish. I used to think, hey, sunfish, Ram Diaz, welcome, guys. I used to think a lot of the times when I was getting those short hits it was the fish was not big enough to get the bait in their mouth. And that's not necessarily true. Sometimes they're just finicky or lazy, and they don't hit it as aggressive. Noticed it in that tournament y'all were in. It happened to me down here, and even just last week, the last live I did, I noticed the blues, they were not just taking it and folding the rod over. They were just tap and play, and I would feed them line. Because I don't know about the river, but I know in the lakes down here, they get to a point where they're real finicky, and if they feel any resistance, once they feel that resistance,
Mm-hmm.
they'll drop the
They'll
bait.
drop it. Yeah.
And even though my leader lines, sometimes are 3 foot long,
Yeah.
I would feed a little extra line to them and let them run a little bit farther and started improving the hookups. That's something I do. I notice another thing y'all do. You move spots. You're not always fishing the same location. And you may be at one spot and the fish are not biting, and you can move to another spot. And like I say, have a night where you catch 43. People get deadlocked on, I caught a fish here, I need to fish here. But especially where you fish on the tidal rivers, it can change, in a matter of minutes. Hey, fishing musician Garrett, I noticed watching y'all that y'all can be on a hot bite and then the bite dies and then the bite comes back through. Do you think that's because of the tide, or do you think there's just so many fish moving up and down where you fish? Like you get into them and that's one group of fish that went through and then another group comes through.
I think majority of the time it's that there are groups of fish coming through. Like I know some of the spots that I fish, I call them just catfish highways. Like they're just, like you'll see like the rods do nothing. And then you'll see one rod get a tap, another rod get a tap, another rod get tapped, all within like a minute of each other. But that's just a school, of catfish, just coming through. And then sometimes you're just right next to home base where you're just gonna, crush them. And that spot that DMV fishes, there's just fish stacked up right there. You can pretty much go out there. Mud hole. Yeah, that mud hole. That's I was telling Mark, I'm like, I know I caught 43, but can you imagine how many fish are down there? That they're just circling. If you catch 43, there has to be like 200 just sitting down there, just chilling.
Yeah. Notice straight to the point come in. Welcome straight to the point. Seamus, come in. Welcome, Seamus.
But yeah, that's one thing. I always switch it up. If it's not getting a bite, I will find another spot to go to. If I'm sitting there for hours and we're not, like, I don't like to sit there. I would try to find another spot to move to entertain. I'd rather end the live stream and then go walk or drive to another spot and try to get some fish.
Hey, P City, welcome. Yeah, but that brings up another question too, because sometimes, it's the bite window. I've seen y'all sit there, you and Fishing Magician both.
Yeah.
And there may be times you sit there for hours and nothing.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden the bite will come, and it's not little fish either. It's big.
It's big fish. Yeah.
Yeah. And
that like is like seasonal. Like wintertime, I'm just picking a spot and I'm just gonna go sit up on a spot next to a deep hole, and we're just gonna wait because you're not gonna get many bites. You're just hoping that you get that one or two bites, and one of them is a nice big fish. But as we get into the springtime, when you put your rods out there, you should begin some activity pretty soon. And if you're not getting activity, then you should pack up and move. I know what's his name, Catfish and Carp, Luke, he talks about the the 15-minute rule. That is true in the springtime and summertime, except for when they're spawning, obviously, but if you can move spots, then, but when you're doing the live streams, it's not always easy to pack up and move everything and then go to another spot. So
well, a lot of people don't understand that on the live streams, there's a lot that goes into that. I mean, it's not like y'all guys on that Potomac River are driving right up to your spot.
No,
you're packing in, you're packing out.
Yep.
You got to load all the gear, unload the gear.
Yeah.
And a lot of these paces that y'all find are just walking trails, and y'all have had to walk and find these spots and these locations.
Yep. And And also when you're dealing with DC, especially during the week, certain times of the day, like in the evening time, the roads change to everything coming out of DC.
Yeah.
So then you can't even get to a fishing spot that you want to go to because the road changes. So you're just like, all right, if I go here, I know I'm stuck here for the rest of the night because I'm not going to be able to move if I want to.
Looks like Becca come in. Rosie. Thanks, guys. No real loss. Welcome, guys. I'm sorry if I miss anybody. I'm trying to keep up with it, but I get kind of distracted talking fish. And that was one thing I never noticed. I was watching Chunky one night.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, that cop's fixing to switch traffic. And I was like, do what? He's like, yeah, at a certain time of the day, they switch the traffic and it goes the other way. And man, that would mess me up. I've never seen nothing like that. I'm like, what do you mean they're switching traffic? He's like, well, part of the day it goes this way, and then at a certain time they come out and they change traffic the other way. And I mean, they actually catch people and give them tickets.
Yeah,
you know, going through there and stuff. And
definitely. But the one thing you don't have to worry about is paying for parking, because there's a lot of spots in DC I never. You know, there'll be a sign there, but you don't have to worry about paying. They never ticket you, or they don't care. All the time, they don't care.
You know, up in that area, since, you know, there's Mark, the Fishing Magician, Chunky, DMV, DC Metro, TBA.
There's a lot of us up here. Bex, No Real Loss is up here now.
Bex, No Real Loss now. Have y'all noticed an increase in the amount of people out there fishing? Because every time y'all's live, there's people walking down the trails. There's people walking by. You know, they're watching y'all catch these catfish.
Yeah.
And do you notice more and more people in your spots?
So the spots that I go to, I haven't. When I get there, if there's somebody there, they're not fishing. They're just there enjoying the scenery. But I do think that over the next year or so, you will see a lot of people fishing in DC, you know, watching, because there's so much, you know, content now on YouTube between all of us across all the channels on YouTube that you're going to see a big spike in YouTube fishing in DC. There's going to be a lot more people coming after us as well. That's why when I find a spot, I don't tell nobody where it's at. I'm like, unless it's like, obviously when you're fishing in the city, there's so many landmarks around you, people know where that is. So I don't mind if I'm fishing a city spot, you know, that's a city spot, everybody knows. But when I'm up in the woods, you know, I've had a lot of people message me too. Where's this at? Where was that? I was like, man, I can't tell you that. You got to find it on your own, like I did.
Lonnie Pantaloons, welcome. You know, and that's another thing, you know, even with the bait, you know, sometimes it's hard for y'all to get the eel. Yeah. And, you know, Chunky, he puts it in his description where he's buying his eel. Yeah. And you're like, bro, quit telling people. And
I'm not doing that. I told you, I said, I ain't telling people where I get my eel from, then I will never get any eel.
Well, and, you know, that's the sad truth, though, but eel, if that's what's working and you cannot get that eel, I mean, you basically don't have confidence in your fishing trip. Even though you go, you may have to use another bait, but it kind of ruins your mood.
Yeah, because, you know, like you plan, and I go get my eel right before my fishing trip, you know. So if I go out, I know where it is, I know it's going to be there. And if I drive there and it's not there, then it's like, oh man, I got to go out with some other baits. I mean, they're going to work, but they're just not going to be my confidence. You know, everybody has what you want to go out with. You know, you plan your day. You're like, I want to go with this. I want to go with that. And you know, that it's just a confidence boost. You know, you just want that extra confidence boost. You know, that superstition. Like I go out here, I got my bait, I got everything I need, and we're going to go out here and slay it.
Yeah. And see, just like y'all spots, that's something I don't have to deal with because I have enough waters around me, lakes and stuff.
Yeah,
I can move. I grew up on these lakes and these areas, and I can go and fish other places. But like y'all, you know, just like one of your favorite spots, some homeless moved in,
Yes.
and they set up camp and they were not leaving. So, you know,
they're still there to this day. Can't get it back.
yeah, and I mean that was a blow. So you're like, man, that's my favorite fishing hole.
Yeah.
So you had to change everything to where I don't have to deal with that. So, you know.
Yeah, and you're gonna see. I know that the mud hole, DMV wasn't able to fish that for a period of time because homeless people moved in on that spot. But man, yeah, that's something. There's so many different variables that you have to deal with when you're going into fishing. But man, I want to get that. I need that spot back by next winter because that's where I pulled that 62 out of. I'm trying to go beat that PB.
I know. Hey, Reef Robber, welcome. I mean, maybe you can strike a deal with them because, you know.
So I did that. I caught that 62. I remember I told Mark where that spot was. Like I sent him the coordinates and everything so he can go and fish that spot a couple of days later. And he was like, bro, the homeless people moved in. I was like, really? Already? Like it was only like 3 days later. Yeah. So you know, I cook food with the wife on Fridays. We sell food and stuff. So I was like, I'm gonna go down there with a bunch of fish sandwiches and you know try to get my spot back. So I went out there and gave him the fish sandwiches. One dude was like, all right, no problem. Yeah, y'all move the stuff. You know, he was helping, you know, about to move everything. And then the other guy was like, I just have so much stuff in my tent. You know, I don't want to do it. And I was just like, all right, you know. I didn't.
Like, I'll help you move, bro.
I told him that. I said, I'll help you move it. You know, let's move it. I will move it back after the show. You know, like.
Yeah. See, we don't. That's one thing y'all deal with up there that we don't down here.
Yeah.
You know? Just like the tidal. A tidal river is very different from a lake or a non-tidal river.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things y'all have to look at and go into aspect and. You know, just planning your fishing trip.
Yeah.
There's certain times, you know, the bite's going to be better than the others.
Yeah.
To where in a lake around here, man, if you want to go, just go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see a question from Fishing Around Chicago with Bill. Other than fish, what is the weirdest thing you pulled out of the water? A microwave.
A microwave.
A microwave.
You pulled a microwave out? Oh man.
And I still haven't figured that out. I don't know if someone just dumped it or if they had a power inverter on their boat and lost it. Mm-hmm. Because when you hook into something like that, you're trying to figure out, you know, what is our microwave doing out here? And it's not what you expect.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, y'all almost had a weird experience this last stream because there was a body floating somewhere.
Yeah, there was a body. Bex, did they make it? I know she was doing updates throughout the live stream. I didn't check afterwards, but man, yeah, there was, you know, you saw the Coast Guard, you saw the police, you saw everybody. They were raking the bottom. It got crazy at one point during the live stream. You know, that was my first time. Well, that was my second time experiencing that. Well, that was my first time experiencing it to that extent. Another time I was live and a car went over the river like a mile upstream and the helicopters were just flying up and down at nighttime. Oh, man, crazy stuff happens over there all the time.
Nick, he's like, microwave may be the weirdest thing of all time. Yeah, and I still don't understand it. I don't know. It's sad, but you got people in this world, they take stuff out there and they'll dump their junk.
Yeah.
And
sad.
You know, I've seen them throw bicycle frames and stuff in there and they think they're creating structure for the fish. This is not a coral reef in these lakes. When you put that metal and microwaves and stuff like that, that stuff oxidizes and releases poisons off into that water.
Yep.
Guys, do not dump your trash in the lake. And
I've seen in DC they have these electric scooters that you can like you have an app, you pay for it, it unlocks and you're able to ride it around DC and like charges off a solar panel. I've seen. Oh man, that's terrible.
Oh, she didn't make it.
Yeah, that's terrible. But they throw these scooters and stuff into the water. Chunky's spot that he fishes that him and Mark share that they go very often. I've been there too a couple times. There's a scooter right there at the base of it. That 10-foot drop off. They just be throwing that in the water. And those scooters have, batteries, battery acid just floating and throwing in the river,
Yeah. They don't understand what they're doing to the river. And,
yeah.
One thing that's frustrating here is you go out to a spot, and I always keep trash bags in my vehicle. And I have to pick up everyone else's trash.
Yeah.
Because they go out there and they drink, throw beer cans and beer bottles, which are illegal on the waters here. You can't even have bottled drinks on the water.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, people have no respect. You'll see them throwing, dirty baby diapers. They just trash it.
Mm-hmm.
And, guys, take care of the waters.
Yeah.
Keep it clean. Said Garrett says, I have a buddy who caught a coffin. A coffin. Apparently, that particular reservoir was built on an old graveyard, and flooding caused some of the coffins to spring free and floated up into the water. There is no way I would fish that body of water.
Oh, man.
No, I would be out. That would be it. In the story, I would be done. Woo.
Oh, coffin?
Yeah.
That's a bad omen right there. I don't want to fish that spot if there's a coffin floating around.
That's like when everything was going on in your stream and we seen the rod move. The first thing your mama said, you sure it's a fish?
Yeah.
I like, no, mama, don't be doing that.
Yeah. I'm gonna laugh. It was funny. There was a lot of jokes going throughout the night, and that's the one thing that I love about the chat, man. They have very good humor and they keep the show entertaining and going the whole time, man. It's
Did
awesome.
They ever find out what happened? Did she get knocked out of the boat, or did they capsize? Or
I'm not sure. I don't know if they jumped or what happened. I'm not sure.
I know I seen all the boats and I seen them, dredging the river and stuff.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what was going on, but that's live fishing too, guys. You never know what's going to happen.
You never know what's going to happen. Yep. Someone said we got rats. You got the raccoons and stuff.
There you go. Brew Tank Outdoors has rats trying to steal his bait and a wallet.
Yep. You got to deal with the rats. You got to deal with the raccoons. I think DMV said coyotes he's even seen one time up in the woods.
Yeah. I watched that one. You and TJ were out, and man, that raccoon just kept coming back. He was after
back, trying to get the carp. Yeah, he kept trying to get the carp.
He was not giving up. And
no.
I thought we was fixing to see it right then. I thought you and that raccoon were fixing to go toe to toe over that carp. I'm like, he's just waiting for you to bend down. As soon as you bend down to get it, he's gonna pounce on you.
Yeah. Them DC raccoons, they're gangster, man. They don't care, they just run up on you, they see humans all the time. So
thanks to DMV, now everybody's got a big blade they can carry.
Yeah.
Hey,
shout out to DMV for that one.
Yeah.
Every time somebody sees that knife, they're like, a machete? You got a machete on you? I was like, yeah.
Yeah, but just like this last time, your can opener broke. That knife come in handy opening that horn. It peeled it right open. So.
Peeled it right open.
Yeah.
Right open.
Yeah, I watch DMV a lot. I'm ready to see him get back out there and
me too.
Get back on things.
Hope he recovers quickly and they get back out there soon.
I know my wife always asks me, why do you watch so much YouTube? Because I don't even have my satellite TV anymore.
Yeah.
Because I never watched it. I was paying, $200 a month.
Yep.
And I'd never watch it because I watch YouTube because it's great that there is enough people out there fishing and stuff that you can watch fishing almost 24 hours a day.
Yep.
And that's what I do. And she's like, why do you watch so much? Because I learn, even though I don't get to fish the big rivers and stuff, I learn and I want to fish the rivers.
Yep.
So I try and gain as much information on them as I can because they are definitely different than the lakes I fish with no current.
Yep.
And you know, you want to know different techniques. There's stuff that y'all use up there that works down here, just like the carp.
Yep.
You know, we never thought of the carp. Tried it; it does work. So you can always learn by watching other people's live streams.
Always, always.
Fishing around Chicago with Bill. I'm in southern Oklahoma. I'm about 45 minutes north of the Texas state line, Red River.
And that's like one of the great things about having so many live fishermen in DC, because I get to watch, and when I'm not out fishing, I get to see what they're using. I get to see what they're fishing, get to see if the fish are biting, what type of, so I'm getting a lot more knowledge, than just me going out there trying to fish it 7 days a week. I don't have to now, because I'm gonna see Chunky live one time. I'm gonna see No Real Lost live one time. I'm gonna see Fishing Magician live one time. I'm gonna see DMV live one time during the week. So it helps you figure out your bite, figure out your game plan for the week. I study, I sit back and watch, and
and it really makes it nice up there because y'all got so many people in a small area.
Yeah.
And me down here, I'm kind of like the only guy down here. I'm on an island. I mean, Creole is the cat. He's the closest person to me, and that's still like an 8-hour drive. I mean,
dang.
Yeah, I'm over here all by my lonesome, and but me when I go, I don't have the pressure that y'all do because you've only got certain spots you can fish. So I share everything. I tell them my location, what bait I'm using, where I'm fishing, why I'm fishing there. Yeah, because one of the biggest things in fishing is location and timing.
Yeah.
You got to be there at the right time. And I'm trying to help educate them to where they know why I'm fishing there. And I want them to go out and be able to catch fish there. I'm trying to get catch and release to catch on down here.
Yeah.
It's very important that we protect this resource. Potomac, it messes me up because they consider them invasive. And they want to kill them out. And y'all guys get it all the time. They're like, "Are you keeping that fish? Why did you put it back?" And,
all the time I get bystanders just walking past, like, "I hope you're killing that fish." Like, nope, I'm letting them go, letting them grow, man.
Yeah, and people don't understand that, but just like you, when you caught that 62-pounder, your PB, somebody else is going to get to experience that exact same feeling you did.
Yeah,
and that to me, that's one of the greatest gifts you can give somebody.
Yes, it is.
A lot of people in the DC area, they didn't even know the Potomac River had fish like that in it.
Yeah.
So y'all started doing these live streams and stuff, and it brought awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And awareness helps because the more people we get out there fishing for these catfish and releasing these catfish, the more pressure it's going to put on the people in political places to try and protect the catfish.
Yep.
To recognize them as a sport fish and not a nuisance.
Yep.
Because especially blue cats, they get a bad name because a lot of the bass fishermen, and I'm not bashing bass fishermen, but there's a lot of money in bass fishing.
Yeah.
Well, blue cats in the water with bass will wreak havoc on some largemouth bass.
Definitely.
I mean, they'll definitely control population.
Oh, yeah. Population control. Definitely.
Yeah. And the bass fishermen are trying to get them out of there to make more room for the bass.
Yeah.
But, there's a cycle in life. Everything has its purpose, and you need all of them to balance everything out.
Yes.
You need a complete ecosystem. And, the more people that we bring awareness to, the more voices there are to be heard.
Yeah.
To start getting something done for the catfish. Because I mean, to me, just like pay lakes, I never knew anything about a pay lake until I started watching YouTube.
Yeah.
And to see these fish that they take to these pay lakes and
Yeah.
die and stuff, man,
Yeah.
it's a crying shame.
It is. It is. It's disgusting. It's sickening.
They can say whatever they want. They've made it legal, but it's not. It's morally wrong. I mean,
Yeah.
how could you do that to one of it? They're still God's creatures. They deserve
Yeah.
a chance to live just like the rest of us do.
Yeah.
And you're putting that fish in captivity, knowing they're going to die, and that's just no life. I mean,
yeah.
I feel for all y'all guys that are struggling with that, and the commercial fishermen and stuff like that. You know, it makes a big difference. Nathan Franklin, welcome.
Definitely.
Hey, George Ray.
Yeah, it's like the parts of the country we don't have pay lakes here, you know, anywhere near our area. But man, I definitely feel for that, man. You going in, you know, they're taking trophy catfish out of the river and then putting them into a pond, and then just to get caught time and time again. And then once, you know, they get caught too many times and they don't go back to the bottom anymore, they just throw them right into the trash can out back, and they're just sitting there, you know, rotting. It's sickening.
Yeah. Well, and there are some pay lakes, you know, like Eric Burnside says, not all pay lakes are the same.
That is true. That is
true. There are some guys that have them and they raise the fish to stock their lakes with, and I'm fine with that. But I still want to make sure they maintain the health of the fish. You know, you want to protect them. You know, just like up there on the Potomac, I hate to see people killing the blue cats and stuff out of that waters, because it is coming to a point where that Potomac River is going to be a phenomenal fishery.
It is. It is.
Polluted or not, you may not be able to eat the fish, but you will be able to go out there and catch numbers of fish and numbers of large fish.
And size, and size.
Yes, it's starting to come into its zone.
Yeah.
So we need to protect that, not be killing the fish in it.
Yes, definitely.
So I think it's great with all you guys out there, because look how many subscribers each one of y'all guys have got.
Yeah.
You're spreading that knowledge to everybody.
And all of us catch photo release. You know, we don't keep our fish. You know, we do the same to try to show everybody else this is how you do it, to do the same thing, you know, push it and pay it forward. You know, it's funny because Maryland is the main one that's behind, you know, I live in Maryland. They're the main ones behind that blue cats or catfish are an invasive species. I just got an email today that they stocked over 1,000 channel cats in all the ponds and lakes around here. So it's like, okay, you call it invasive, but then you guys turn around and go and stock, you know, all the ponds and lakes and stuff with channel cats. You know, it's like I don't understand. You know. Well,
there's a cycle of life, and nature always finds a way to survive. You know, so you know, don't waste all your time fighting against nature. Learn how to embrace it. Learn how to make the situation better and not worse.
100%. And that's I don't know if you guys have snakeheads where you're at, but we had snakeheads come in about 15 years ago, and now the population is, you know, it's all in the Potomac River, it's in ponds, it's in lakes, you know, it's in the Chesapeake Bay. They're, you know, they're here to stay now. But when they first got here, they were like kill, do not release. Now you can catch and release back into the same body of water. You don't have to kill them. And me, I'm not killing the fish unless I'm going to eat it. And, you know, I'm not just going to kill a fish just to kill it. So I always, you know, I'm going to release every fish I catch, you know, back in the same body of water unless I'm going to keep them to eat.
Yeah. And see the snakeheads. I know TBA likes to fish for them a lot.
Yeah, he does.
But we don't have them down here. So, you know, a lot of the times when I watch you guys, when you're fishing different species and stuff, it's the first time I get to see that fish. I watch a lot of the guys in the UK fishing because it's completely different for me, but you can still learn from it. just like your rigs you were talking about, you learn and you switch from the Carolina rig to the Santee Cooper rig. This is information that helps people, and he's not going to have to spend the money on tackle that you did learning that little hit there. So there's little hints and tips that can help people.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the one thing I like about YouTube is you get to go, if you're trying to figure out something, if you want to know if this is the rod for you or the reel for you, you can type it in and get, 70 different opinions on this thing before you actually spend the money and buy it. And that has taught me so much. I've learned how to fish because of YouTube. Now I want to pass my knowledge on to everybody else and go into doing reviews and going to telling you guys how this works, what action, because across the board, a medium heavy action is going to be different on every single rod company that you get. Somebody's medium heavy is like a heavy action. Somebody's medium heavy is like a medium action, depending on, what rod company. So that's one thing I like about YouTube is just the knowledge that's out here. And then just paying it forward. If I learn something, I'm going to share it so that I can help somebody else to either save them money from not going to buy that product or helping them to go buy that product,
Yep. Robert McKnight, welcome. Dyslexic Angler Reese, hey, exactly, especially during the COVID, you could not go to somewhere and put your hands on the rods and the reels.
Yep.
There's no way of knowing. And to me, you've always got that pressure because you do not know, hey, is this going to perform at the level I need it to?
Exactly. Exactly.
Just like you out there, catching that 62-pound fish, on another rod, you may have not landed that fish.
Yeah.
And me, I'm more reluctant to try things because once I find something that works, I try and stick with it because I know it's proven. Chunky has I don't know how many rods from all different companies. And, and he tries them out. And a lot of people give Chunky slack now because he catches a lot of smaller fish, but he's having a time out there catching them.
Yeah.
And it's enjoyable to watch. And, Chunky has caught big fish.
Yeah.
And, so it all depends on what you're going after.
Exactly.
That's the biggest advice I can give to somebody. If you're going out there and catching 2 to 3 pound channel cats, don't go out there with a broomstick for a rod.
You're not going to have any fun. You don't want a medium heavy action rod. Go get yourself a medium action, light action rod. Try to downsize. Go to 8 pound test and make it a fun fight for you, every time you go out there. That's why I say you have to fish whatever, species, whatever size that you're going after. It's different. Some people, there's only 8 pound and under catfish in your ponds and lakes and stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. Go out there, target them, have a blast. It just depends.
Hey, Billy Jim, welcome.
On what body of water and what type of size fish you have.
Bottom feeders hooked up, welcome. Yeah, and see, that's what's nice about YouTube. They have these groups on Facebook, and a lot of guys go in there and ask questions, and they're given a hard time.
Oh yes, definitely.
By guys that are in there,
definitely,
and it discourages them from asking questions.
Yeah,
and that's not what we want. We want to be able to teach these people, learn them.
Yeah,
you have people in there make fun of other people's fish.
Yeah,
okay, a 10-pound fish may not be that big where you're fishing, but a 10-pound fish to someone else, that may be the biggest fish that was swimming in that water.
Yeah,
and don't degrade people because of what they are. Let's help encourage people, educate people, and lift each other up. There's enough negativity in the world without us adding to it.
I 100% agree with you on that one. I used to be a big Facebook, going, sharing into the groups and trying to be a part of those groups. But man, there is so much negativity in those groups. I just try to stay away from it and I will tell you from experience of trying to make a channel grow, and you put a new video out, so you're like, I'm going to share it into these 10 Facebook groups. The ratio from people that are actually going to click it and watch it and subscribe is very, very, very small. So I wouldn't even worry about focusing on Facebook to grow your channel. Just focus on YouTube. YouTube is the best.
Patchy Adventures, welcome. That's one thing I like. I know a lot of people fish for just big fish, and everyone got the term dinks, but to me, any fish you catch is a good fish. I have fun catching them regardless of the size, because it's like a chess match. You're trying to figure out where these fish are at.
Yeah.
What are they doing at a certain time? What are they eating? And you're battling wits with this fish.
Yeah.
And whether you see it as a dink or not, it was still a victory because you were able to predict what they were doing and locate the fish.
Yep.
Eric Burnside, I don't know if I mentioned you or not. If I didn't, buddy, welcome. I get excited with every bite, every fish. I celebrate the fish. Just like the 43 fish you caught. None of them were tanks. I mean, you didn't have to have 40 and 50 pound fish.
Yeah.
But that was fun, not only for you catching them, but as a viewer watching your stream. I had fun watching it. I mean, there was times you couldn't keep a rod in the water.
Yeah. I had
4 rods and they're on the bank.
Yeah.
I mean,
numerous times I had all rods out of the water.
Regardless of the size of the fish, how is that not fun? If you cannot enjoy that, something's wrong.
Yeah, definitely. And that speaks to your character and who you are as a person. Some people will be entertained by it. Some people will find some shade and some hate in it. But I don't worry about the negativity. I worry about the positivity. That's why I always tell people that are on YouTube, don't worry about the thumbs down. Don't worry about the 3 thumbs down. Worry about the 50 thumbs up. Entertain those people. That's how I look at it.
Well, and you can't please everybody.
Yep.
I don't understand the thumbs down. I know there's trolls out there. I never heard about trolls or nothing until I got on YouTube.
Yeah.
And, common sense tells you if you don't like what you're watching, go watch something else.
Yeah.
But you'll have guys, they'll schedule an event to come on. And before the event ever goes live, it's already got thumbs down.
Got thumbs down, yeah.
It's like, do you people have nothing better to do than to sit around and try and put thumbs down? And, a lot of them don't understand that thumbs down, if they stay and watch, that thumbs down still counts as view time.
Yeah, definitely does.
It still counts. So if you want to give me a thumbs down, stay, hang around, watch. I'll take it.
I'll take it.
But they say that's when you make it big, is when you got haters.
Yeah. When I got my first thumbs down, that's when I know, that's when you're doing something right, when you start getting some thumbs down.
Did you give them the sweet doggy?
Of course. We give all the haters the sweet doggy.
Yeah.
We ain't worry about that, man. Don't worry about that.
I don't know about you, but the best advice I could give somebody out there, guys, don't stress so much about catching the fish.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Don't turn it into a job.
Yeah.
Don't take the pleasure out of it.
Never.
If you focus too much, you're going to turn it into a job, and it's not going to be as enjoyable for you. We went out today. What do you see, Hez?
I saw Rosie say, "Shh, the baby sleeping."
Oh, yeah. With the sweet doggy. We went out today, and I knew it was the spawns going. So I knew the bite was going to be bad. But we still went to get out.
Yeah.
And, didn't have a lot of success, but I did catch my personal best soft shell turtle today.
Hey.
People say, well, you didn't catch any fish. It was not successful. Yes, it was, because I learned where the fish were not at today.
Yeah.
there's always a positive. Look for things, guys. There's different things you can do. Guys that have boats, during the spawn, you're able to drag baits. Dragging baits is a great way to locate fish during the spawn because they don't all meet in the same spot and every fish goes spawn at the exact same moment. You'll have fish moving into spawn, fish coming out of spawn, and we've got about a month. That's going to be tough fishing, but you'll get over it. So don't get discouraged, guys. Keep on it. Keep going after them. Time on the water will help you more than anything.
Definitely.
I know.
Have fun. Time on the water. Never get discouraged. There is no wasted trips ever. There is no wasted trips. I've had times when I've done, 4-hour streams, 5-hour streams, and didn't catch a single fish,
Yeah.
But those have been some of the funnest times I've been out fishing. You just got to make the best, make the most of it. There is no wasted trips ever. Yeah. It's always knowledge. Now you're learning, okay, don't go this time. Don't go with this bait. Don't go at this location. Let me go try. Now let me figure out something else. Let me go try something else. Try to figure out where they are at. You just keep on going until you find them. I remember that's what I always tell my first 5 or 6 times catfishing. I got skunked 5-6 times in a row. And I was like, I went out there with liver, I went out there with cut bluegill, I went out there with chicken. I went out there with all the, baits. And then I saw Chunky. So I messaged him. He was like, white perch and eel. So then I go find another spot and go out there with some eel. And I just started slaying them ever since. You just have to put that time in. You have to go out there. You have to change up your baits. You have to change up what you're using. You may have to change up, the hooks. You may have to change up your rigs. You may have to put some floats on. You have to figure it out, And then once you figure it out, you're like, oh my, I figured it out. I finally figured it out. Now I know how to do it, Yeah. And then it's just like a light bulb turns on and then, and then the next season, and then you have to figure it out the next season, then the next season comes. And then once you have a years of experience, and then you're like, well, I remember what I did last January, what worked. So let me go try that again this January. And then it works again. So then you've got a pattern now of what to do every season.
Yeah. Just like Michael Williams, he said, sometimes fishing is at times just getting out, relaxing, enjoying life, family, and friends.
Yes.
And that's exactly true. A successful fishing trip should not be based on the amount of fish you catch. That's one thing I love about watching you, Has. You post videos and you've got Jazz out there and the kids and, you're getting them involved. You have a good time. It's not always about catching fish. I remember one time you and Mark, Fishing Magician, were fishing together. And y'all were out. Fish were not biting for hours. Y'all had lit a fire.
Yeah.
And Mark kept trying to run away from the smoke, and the smoke kept following him. Yep. And we were all dying laughing and stuff. And, I think you were messing with him about a bite.
Yep.
And the fish wasn't there. And when the fish actually did bite, you were like biting. He's like,
he was like, no.
Like, yeah, the rod's down. And it had been like,
you really have a bite this time.
It had been like 4 hours and nothing had touched it. And then all of a sudden it just come in and laid down. So
yep, I remember that. That was when we took my brother to the mountain spot for the first time. That was the only bite and the only fish the whole night. We were out there for like 5 hours. It was like 30 degrees out. It was very cold that night. We ate glizzies. That was the first time. That was when I introduced glizzies to the live streams and everything. It was a fun time. It was a fun time. Yeah. I had a blast.
But that's what it's about.
I didn't catch a single fish, and I had a great night that night.
Yeah, but that's what it's about. Don't stress about it, guys. Don't take all the fun. Guys in chat, if any of y'all have any questions for Has, post them up in chat. Got a lot of knowledge out there. He's been doing a great job, put in a lot of time. These guys go through a lot up there on that Potomac River.
Oh yeah,
tides, the mud. Man, y'all have patience that I don't. With that, with the kayakers and stuff that y'all deal with,
yeah.
they've got the whole river,
A whole
and
river.
these
Right.
jokers are like 3 foot
Right
off
up on
the
us.
bank. Yeah,
Right up on us.
it's like,
Right up on us.
what are you doing? And
Yeah.
you know, just like this last live, the whole river, and that woman drove that boat into them rocks.
Took out my first 2 lines. Luckily,
Yeah.
she didn't break any of the lines, and they stopped my. So I had 2 50-pound braid, and it slowed the boat down.
Yeah. The funny part was after you told her and she backed up and got off your rods and stuff, she turns and looks at the other people after she done run over him. She's like, "Hey, watch out for the lines."
Yeah.
You know.
I'm like, you don't see me right here with 6 rods out. I got bright orange and green and color rods right in front of your face, you know. But hey, I don't know. South of DC, Rosie, I have little experience fishing south of DC. Just because it's I have to drive like 30 minutes past all my fishing spots to get to the south of DC. But I will be doing some more fishing south of DC in the boat, not necessarily from the bank, but definitely from the boat. I will be. Yes, I did. So after the stream, I went. I hiked back to my first initial fishing spot, which was like 30 minutes away, about 25 minutes walking. And I got into the river like up to my knees, took my shoes off, and I was rinsing them out, getting all the mud off of my legs and everything. Because that place I can walk into the water without being in the mud.
That's what I was wondering because, man, I seen how muddy you are. You look like something out of Swamp Thing.
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
I was like, man, surely he's not getting in the car like that.
No. I had a plan to go rinse off in the river before I got back in the truck. But definitely. But yeah, I was covered up to my knees in mud.
Yeah, and there's different spots on that river and stuff, guys, and that brings up another good point, guys. If you're watching these guys and you see them fishing a spot, or even on your local waters, you see a guy that's got a spot, and you know that's his spot and he's fishing it. Guys, kind of respect him. Don't go in there and camp on top of them.
Yeah.
Common courtesy goes a long way.
Definitely.
And, try and be courteous to each other.
Yeah.
But try and help each other.
I was going to say, courtesy goes for the boat guys too. If you see a bank guy fishing, don't pull your boat up right on the bank guy. Like, you have the whole river, the whole lake. I hate when somebody does that. Like,
did you see DMB? He was live streaming one night, and this boat's way across the river, and DMB starts catching fish, and this joker pulls up. You could have hit him in the head. You could have whacked him with the rod. He comes up over there and camps DMB's spot. The bite dies because the dude just drove his boat right through the fish.
Oh man. Yeah, see that's terrible right there. That's when you gotta, just throw your 4-ounce sinker. Oops, my bad.
Yeah.
Hit the boat.
That's what we keep waiting for TJ to do.
We're
taking bets.
Take somebody out. He took some birds out. Now I need to take them boaters and them kayakers out that want to run into my lines.
Hey, that's a way to get super chats.
Yeah.
It's kind of like bonus points. Instead of duck hunt, it'll be kayakers. But Haz, I can't thank you enough for coming on, spending time with us, and I really appreciate what you're doing. Like I said, you guys up there have raised a lot of awareness in DC and Virginia, Maryland area, because a lot of people didn't even know those catfish were in that river and grew to that size.
Yeah.
And, occasionally y'all get the weirdo that pops in on your live stream. And but you know, a lot of times you have people that just show up that are generally curious
Yeah.
and wanting to learn.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, what it do, what it be, what it is. That's exactly right. With the beep beep.
Beep beep. He gonna let us go.
Uh,
You know what it be, what it is.
yeah, that was hilarious.
I died. I still die to this day. That was
Yeah.
like top 5 funny moments and
Uh,
him riding his bike across the screen.
yeah. And guys, if you haven't checked them out, like I say, you've got the Baltimore Angler, DC Metro, Has Life, the Fishing Magician 2.0, DMV. Guys, they're all great. It's good streaming to watch, and you might learn something. Just like DMV, watching him. I do not fish with liver. Can't keep liver on the hook.
Yeah.
Well, I noticed DMV takes that bait thread.
Yeah, he takes that bait
And
there and
he'll
wraps it
sit
around
there.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. First time I seen it, I thought, what is he doing?
Yep.
And he's wrapping it. And I noticed the guys in the UK, they do that with their baits as well. And
Yep.
it helps keeps them on the hook. So
Yep.
you can learn things, guys. And I have a big question. A lot of questions I get is bait. Guys, there's times you can go out there, you're going to catch them on hot dogs. You can catch them on liver. You can catch them on stink bait. A hungry fish will eat just about anything. You may not catch size, but you may catch numbers.
Yeah.
You know, hot dogs. I've seen a lot of people catch channel cat on hot dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I've seen them put garlic on them and stuff like that. And it worked. I've seen a lot of people catch fish on chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, don't be afraid to try different things and fish different areas. That will help you tremendously.
Definitely. Definitely. The most important thing, though, is location. If the fish aren't there, you're not going to catch them. Doesn't matter what bait you have. So you got to go, you got to find the fish. You got to locate the fish.
Yep. And understand that fish move different places at different times of the year. The more time you spend on the water, the more you're going to learn. Guys, Navionics, especially if you're bank fishing, look, don't just go fishing. Look what the depth of the water you're in when you're fishing. If you know the fish are in 4 foot of water during the month of May, you can go fish 12 and 15 foot of water all month long and not get on the fish.
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention to what's going on, the weather, water temperature, water level, little stuff, even water clarity makes a difference. Whether it's stained, whether it's clear. Pay attention to all this stuff. Me, I know you do carp fishing as well, Has. And I've got to where I like to watch the carp videos because now that I know I can use them for bait, I'm targeting the carp trying to catch them. And they've been spawning here, and they're just now starting to break up out of their spawning pods. Every once in a while, you'll see one cruising by itself. And so I'm going to get after them because I'm going to try that carp.
Hey, carp fishing is very underrated in the United States. If you're a cat fisherman, you should go after some carp too. Number one, it's a great bait to use, and they put up a great fight on some light tackle. Majority of the time, you got to use like a 10. I will still use my catfish gear, like my 30-pound leader, my 50-pound leader. I mean, my main line, but I use like a 10-pound leader line. So you have to, loosen that drag up, and it makes for a great fight. They peel drag, it's fun fighting some carp.
And carp are more spooky. You can have a whole group of carp, and if you cast into them, they're going to scatter.
They're line shy too. They're line shy, so you have to use thin diameter.
But like now with the catfish spawn going on here, the catfish bite is dead. So you could go out, and now that carp will work as bait, go try and catch some of them carp, guys. You don't have to stay at home. Go crappie fishing. Go
Yeah.
try and catch striper.
Yep.
Get out and try and do other things. Just like now, if the carp are coming out of spawn as the catfish are going in, go catch some of them carp and stock up on some fresh bait.
Yeah.
Get you some cut bait made. And like I said earlier in the show, guys, has had a great video on preparing carp to fish with. So if you have not seen it, go check it out.
And it carp, I know some baits don't hold well in the freezer. They don't last long, like 1 week, 2 weeks. Carp all month long, you're good to go. Like, yeah, you could go 2 months, 3 months with carp because it's just so oily. Like, as soon as you take it out, it's gonna, go back to, it's not gonna soften up on you. It's gonna stay on the hook forever. So definitely.
Yep. Johnny, JNS Outdoors, I catch a nice carp on Nightcrawler in my upcoming video. That was me. Most of the time when I catch carp, it's a byproduct. I wasn't trying to.
Yeah.
I caught one, and I was actually catfishing, and I was using crawdads for bait. And I was using a circle hook, and I get out there, and, man, that rod just lays over.
Yeah.
And I'm all excited, and I'm fighting this fish for probably 30 minutes. And I think I've got a good 40, 50-pound catfish. And I get it up to the bank, and it's about a 30-pound carp.
Whew.
And it tucked that number 8 circle hook in, no problem, crawdad in a hole. And I was like, man. But we have huge carp down here.
Yeah.
And alligator guard. A lot of people have fun catching them.
Michael Williams, whatever size carp you can fit in your cooler, if you could get, I could use carp from 5 pounds all the way up to, 20, 30 pounds, just depends. Those 30-pound carp, those are pretty massive, though. I probably want to use one of them. They're harder to fillet, too, once you get that big.
And Has can tell you from experience, it's a lot cheaper to catch them than it is to buy them from the market.
It definitely is a lot cheaper to catch them. And corn and some pack bait is all you need. Go out there with some strawberry jello, breadcrumbs, and some corn mix. Put some corn on the hook, and you can go out there with your same catfishing rig that you use. I just use a 3-way swivel. So I just change out my leader from my 80-pound hook to a 10-pound J hook. And like size 1, and put that out there. You don't need the whole fancy method lead and all that stuff set up. If all you I just pack it right around my 2 ounce to 4 ounce weight coin weight. Just pack my bait right around there, and it works.
That's for you, Has. Brian B's got something to tell you.
I only use glizzies. Brian B. I can't wait. I cannot wait for the Glizzy Masters. We're finally here, almost Saturday. It's going to be an awesome show. I can't wait.
Eugene Brooks, yes. Every one of them, I let them go back on, and it will be on my channel later to where you can view it, because I don't want anyone to miss this kind of information and knowledge. That's why we do it. We want to get this out there for you guys. And, just like pack bait. I never heard of pack bait till I watched Has and them. And I got to watch him on his last video. He actually made it live while he was on live and was using it. So I will definitely keep it up there. And I try and keep everything up there to where everyone has a chance to go back and view it. I understand people work, people go to church. Not everyone can be there at certain times. Let's see, Michael Williams. Michael Williams, I'm in southern Oklahoma. Very southern. I'm about 45 minutes from the Texas state line.
Yeah, Willow, I agree too. Yeah, like with the carp, when they get massive, like over 20 pounds, they're just too big to keep for me. I keep them like 15 pounds. Because you get a lot of carp bait out of 15-pound carp. You get a lot of bait. Like,
yeah.
I'll be able to, off a 15-pound carp, I'll be able to go fishing for like 3 weeks, off of that. It's a lot of bait.
Well, and Carp put up a fight. My wife is the type when she goes out there and she goes fishing, she don't care what she's catching as long as she's catching. I can take her out there on bluegill, and she will sit there and catch bluegill in the current and stuff all day long and have a blast. Carp. She caught a bass by accident on redworm.
Yeah.
And that bass put up a fight with her, and now she's hooked on trying to catch bass. She just loves the fight.
Yeah. I fish for bass too. I like bass fishing. I like light tackle fishing, you know, fishing on 6-pound line, 10-pound line. It's fun. And carp fishing is different than like you can go out and chum the water. You know, if you fish in ponds and lakes, you can go out there chum the same spot, you know, a couple days before when you're carp fishing. And you do that 3 nights in a row the same time. You go out there that 4th night, that carp bite's going to be on fire.
Yeah. Michael Williams said he's in Uvalde, Texas. I'm not sure where that's at, Michael. Well, a lot of guys that chum for them carp and stuff too, throwing that carp and stuff, that corn and stuff out. I've actually seen them come up in there, and the channel catfish will come up in there too.
Yeah. Channel catfish love corn too. You can catch them all day long on corn.
Well, and channel cat in most of your waters are scavengers, because if you've got blues or you got flatheads in there, that channel cat has to eat whatever he can, and he's got to survive wherever he can.
Yeah.
Because he's low man on the catfish totem pole.
I do agree with you on that. Channel cats are the low man on the totem pole.
I use plain corn and chum with only corn. It works for me.
Yeah, corn.
Rosie, that's
sweet
all
corn. Sweet corn.
That's all that matters, guys. You got to find something that works for you. You know, just like rods. There are hundreds of rods out there now.
Yep.
Everyone asks, what's the best rod? What's the best rod? Which rod are you competent in? Whatever you are competent in, that is the best rod for you, because you have that competence. If you do not have confidence in your ability, your bait, or your tackle, you're not going to enjoy fishing. You want to have that confidence.
You can ask 7 different catfishermen. They're going to give you 7 different answers. You know, some of them are going to want medium. Some are going to want medium heavy. Some are going to want heavy. Someone's going to want a 7.6. Someone's going to want a 10-foot. Somebody's going to want a 12-foot, you know, just depending on, you know, what your style of fishing is.
Well, and like you were talking earlier, different rod companies, both of them can be medium heavies, but a medium heavy whisker seeker versus a medium heavy tangling with catfish may have completely different actions.
Definitely
softer tips, harder tips.
Definitely does.
Even the weight of the rod can be completely different. So research, ask people, try and find something that is close to what you like, and
the handle too. You know, the handle on the rods have different lengths too as well. You know, sometimes you get like Whisker Seeker, they have a 9'6" rod, but the handle on it is short. You know, I have 7'6" rods that have longer handles on it than
I like the longer handle,
the Whisker Seeker
casting.
And
also when you're fighting the fish, put it up against your forearm.
Yep. The slime cats have longer handles on them. I like the slime cat. But Muddy River, oh man, they have the best grips. Like I cannot beat those grips, and they have the best grips in the game. I don't like these EV foam. All these rods with the EV foams, they just get torn up too easily. I don't like them.
Well, see, I have the same deal with cork. I'm not a
cork
big
too.
I'm not a big fan of the cork, and I have large hands. So the EVA foam and stuff, I like a bigger grip. I like the bigger reels because it don't feel so awkward in my hands.
Do you have any Muddy River rods?
I wish.
When you get out rod, that's going to be the one for you, because it has a very thick handle, and the grip is like, it mimics leather. It feels like it has a leather grip, but it's not. But it feels like leather. The way the material that they have.
Adam O'Hara Fishing. Ladybug, welcome. Them blue cat rods, when Chris Flores come out with them, man, I fell in love with them because I'll do a lot of night fishing, especially in the heat in the summer.
Yeah.
And that white and that blue shows up really good. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a beautiful rod.
Yeah.
And on even on the butt, on the handle of that rod, that Muddy River, if you see that dark blue and then how he inlaid the white in there
Yeah.
with it and got the design in there,
Yeah.
they are beautiful, beautiful rods.
They are. They are.
Another one, the one he did for Paula Smith, the Paula Smith signature series rod
with the white
that
butt
white,
on it.
that white.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't care what you say; those rods are sexy. When you see them, you want them.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I have not met one person that has picked up a Muddy River rod that has not liked it.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing with me, I bank fish a lot, so I would like a longer rod.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I've got to have that extra casting distance that a 10 or a 12-foot rod will offer. And that's the only reason I don't have the Muddy River rods. If I had a boat, that sucker would be loaded down with them. And the monster rod from Steve Douglas, I love those also.
I will tell you, you'll be surprised at the casting distance on those blue cat rods. The way that he has it designed with that heavy backbone and then that tip,
soft tip,
it springs like it's the perfect cast. That was my first bait casting rod, so I got that down and I can send it. But when I started casting the slime cat rods and the Tangle with Cats rods, they don't have that same spring at the tip that Muddy River has. So it just gives you that extra oomph from that extra casting distance. So I know he only offers a 7'6", but it has a great casting distance.
Adam, that's awesome.
Nice, Adam. I see you got all them bass in your picture. I still got bass in my YouTube picture too. I love bass fishing. But get out there and go catch you a catfish, because they will tug way harder than any 9-10 pound bass that you ever caught in your life.
That right there just goes to show you, it doesn't matter how many thumbs down show up on a video. That right there is worth every bit of it.
Nice. What's your PB, Adam? What was it? I love catfishing.
I do too.
I jumped on the catfish scene and I got lucky immediately. I started catfishing 4 months of catfishing. I went from 5, 10 to 19 pounds. And then I got a 52 pounder when I was out fishing with Mark, Fishing Magician.
Yeah.
And he was catfishing and doing all stuff, a year longer than me. And even after a year after that, he finally hit 54. He was just taking baby steps up the whole entire time. And I just went out there and got lucky and just caught that 52, after 4 months. And the way it was making that rod bend down, I caught it on the Penn Fierce. It's actually right behind me. It's a pretty stiff rod, but man, there's no fight like it. When it comes to freshwater, you may sturgeon maybe put up a fight like that, but outside of that, an alligator gar maybe, but catfish is all we got in the Potomac River. So that was second to none for me.
Yeah, that's nice, Adam. 6 pound channel.
Nice. Channels fight great. A 6 pound channel fights like a 16 pound blue cat. Those channels, they fight really good. I was catching a bunch of channel cats in the Chesapeake Bay on Sunday, and I don't, in the Potomac River, you don't catch many channel cats. The blues have taken over, so you don't catch many of them. So I forgot what it's like to catch, channel cats that size. I was catching them between 3 and 8 pounds, and they put up a great fight.
Hey, Dragonfire, welcome. Yeah, see, that's like us. We have so many flatheads and blues. And in the other bodies of water I fish, they also have the silver cat.
Yeah.
And your channel cats don't get that big.
Yeah.
So down here, if you catch a 6 pound channel cat, man, I'm excited because you don't see them very often.
Yeah.
So that's great. Well, Has, I appreciate you coming on, and I like to thank everybody for stopping in. We've been live for a while. I don't want to keep everybody. I don't know exactly how long we've been going, but
Oh, it's hour and 40 minutes, 10:40 now.
yeah,
Man. We've
yeah,
been going at it for a while.
I know. I told my wife it'll be a short one.
It always starts out that way and it never ends that way.
Well, I had Epic on, and it went from an hour to like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh yeah, when Tim comes on, you already know you're in for a long show. When Tim and Stan come on, it's going to be a long show.
Yeah, but thanks for coming on, everyone in the chat. Thank y'all for coming. If y'all have any questions, feel free to email me. I think my email's in the description. Also, if anyone would like to come on and be a guest on the show, also email me, countryboycatfishing@gmail.com. I'll be more than happy to get you out and get you noticed and kind of let you share your experience with everybody. So, hey, Adam, better late than never. I appreciate everybody. Thank y'all so much, and we will catch y'all next time.
Thanks for coming in, guys. Appreciate you.